our next guest scheduled to really talk about the Knicks and the Nets and everything else in the NBA. But I think we're going to go down this road with Frank Vogel as NBA writer for Associated Press. Brian Mahoney joins us now here on the Right to It guest line. Brian, how you been, man? Thanks for jumping on with us today.
Yeah, I mean, I I got a better Knicks team than the Suns out there. I guess they still got their coach here.
Jeez, do you think Frank Vogel got a raw deal on this?
I mean, in a lot of ways, you could definitely say that. I mean, when you go 49-33 with your first year in a team, that's usually not something that gets you fired.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a team that obviously has expectations and doesn't have a roster probably that meets those expectations, and the coach goes, and that happens a lot of times. And I think that's what happened with Frank Vogel.
Some are saying this new owner, Matt Ishbia, being young, being new at this, rookie owner, could be incompetent. Could be, who knows? But would any respectable coach want a job like this that has a rookie owner?
I do think there's a bit of a red flag there. Now,
okay.
Obviously, when you're looking at, there's obviously going to be a good paycheck, and it is an NBA job. It's only 30 up from all the things we know. So someone's going to take the job, and also you're coaching Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. So there's probably more pros than cons. But yeah, I mean, there is certainly the fear of an owner who wants to make a big splash all the time, and sometimes those big splashes don't build you great teams.
Brian, when you watch this team from afar and you see the big three out there, from your perspective, disappointing what happened, or scratch your head why it was happening, and then to see them get bounced in the first round, what were your initial thoughts just watching this team from afar as they played?
Well, my thoughts were probably they were never as good as they hoped they were going to be. Every time I saw them, they certainly had a nice stretch early in the year when I saw them, and then it sort of looked like win a few, lose a couple, and just no consistency. And it's one of those. Look, by the time they got to the playoffs, I said they were probably, in my mind, no better than maybe the fifth best team in the West on their best day. So that means they're going to lose in the first round. So I wasn't surprised. Minnesota, just top to bottom, was a much better team than them, and that's what we saw.
I'm with you on that, Brian. Brian Mahoney joining us on the Right Toyota guest line. Brian, you saw Kevin Durant up close and personal in New York. It seems like every 2 years he seems to get upset or he's not happy. You covered him. He wasn't happy in Brooklyn. Now apparently the reports are he's not happy in the Valley of the Sun. How do you make him happy, or can you ever make him happy?
That's a good question. The Nets certainly did a lot of things you would think would have made it that way. They brought in guys he wanted to play with, him and Kyrie Irving, and changed coaches when he didn't like the coach anymore. And so you would think, if there's a way to do it, the Nets probably would have figured it out. But it's up to Kevin. He's still a great player. Whether he wants to win, whether he just wants to play a style that's called for him, he's got to figure all that out. And maybe the next coach will certainly be more in line of what he's looking for.
And with that, when you talk about the coach and talk about the effect that coach has a locker room, a lot of reports that this team these big three were somewhat disgruntled at the end of the season. You got Thibodeau there with the Knicks. Seemed like he's got pretty good control, and he's got some stars on that team. Is it truly all about the coach getting control and ruling that team to move them forward? And do you think that's what this team needs to, is somebody with more and more authority and control with that big three in this locker room?
Well, some of that, but also the players have to buy into the coach. I think, people ask him about Tom Thibodeau here because he's not known as a guy who is right for everybody. But the players the Knicks put together are guys who love what he preaches, and they want to play his way, and they want to be, a hard driving style. What do Devin Booker and Kevin Durant want at this stage of their career and feel? That's hard to say. Everybody says they want to win, but not everybody wants to win with maybe the way Frank Vogel wants to do things. So finding that kind of mix is never easy, and the Suns certainly didn't find it this year.
So what do you have the Suns doing in the offseason? Do you give any credence at all to the rumors circulating about Durant interested in Miami? And also, what else do you think that the Suns would need if they could acquire a point guard who could help them get their offense set up?
Well, a point guard's a good place to start if you can get one of those. I mean, if certainly if they were able to trade Kevin Durant, if he wanted out, you'd get some assets back. Now, Miami doesn't have a ton of things that probably, would certainly change the fortunes too much to make them much better than a 49-win team. But, he's only going to be there a couple more years anyway. The bottom line is he's, late in his career at this point. So if you can get assets back for a team that's probably not going to win during his timeline still, it's probably something you've got to look at. If he wants out, you probably got to go ahead and take a good look at that.
It seems as though Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, all the stars seem to – looks like New York City is the landing spot, Brian. We've heard that with Booker, and we've also heard that with KD. All of a sudden, it fits. The Knicks were an afterthought last several years before they get on the map this year. What is it about New York, aside from the media? We get that makes that such a great landing spot with Thibodeau ruling a team with an iron fist.
Well, you have to. The problem the Knicks had for many, many years, we always thought they were going to get guys here. They go into free agency when they had money. We're going to get LeBron this time. They're going to get this guy. They're going to get this guy. They never got any of them because the team was never winning. And I think you have to have that culture where guys think they're going to come win. Like the Knicks, look, 3 out of 4 years now under Thibodeau, they've gone to the playoffs. The last 2 years, they've gone to the second round. I think players have always wanted to play in New York because of the Madison Square Garden, because of the big market, all those reasons, but they didn't want to come here and lose. And now I think guys look at it and say, we can come here and win. Jalen Brunson's a winner. Let's go play with him. So I think the Knicks have a much better chance to get guys now than they ever did the last 10 years or so.
All right. I have a question because my new hero now, as I'm watching the Pacers and the Knicks series, is Isaiah Hartenstein. Give us the background on him and how his game has progressed to where it is now, where nobody really knew much about him. He was a journeyman for so long.
Yeah, and I don't think he was expected to be much more than that here. The year started, he was the backup center to Mitchell Robinson. When Robinson, broke his foot in December, he became the starter. He's a smart player on offense. They can put him close to the basket. He can handle the ball at the high post and throw the passes down low to cutting guards and stuff. And he's a great shot blocker. He gets in great defensive positions. He's not the same rebounder Robinson was, but he's very capable at it. And they didn't lose a step back the way people thought they were when Robinson went out. Robinson at the time was the best offensive rebounder in the league. He was great defensive guy, and they kept on winning with Hartenstein. So he's just been fantastic. Another great find for them, who's been better than they thought he was going to be.
Brian, you got to give some love to our fine Italian paisano brother, DiVincenzo. He's going to become a cult hero if he keeps us up there in New York City.
He certainly is. And, another guy going back to the same exact thing. Look, when they got him, it was okay. Yeah, he'll probably start at shooting guard and maybe he'll give us 10 points a game and good defense, whatever. The guy now is, in the playoffs getting 20, 25 a night, playing, 43, 44 minutes a night. All these guys just now, whether that's the coach, whether they all were guys who were better than their previous stops realized, it's hard to really say. It's probably a combination of all of them, but this team here, these guys have all been sort of better than individually what they were thought to be, and it's made for, so far, a pretty nice team.
Is Rick Carlisle, or is the New York, I should say, fans all over Rick Carlisle as he's calling him out on the officiating, small market versus big market? Is that some of the narrative today on talk radio in New York?
Yeah, I mean, people sort of laugh at it. That's
Too.
Okay. It's coaches have been doing this for a million years, complaining about the officiating, the playoffs. But the bottom line, like everyone kind of laughed at, it's not like the Knicks have gone very far in the last, in the 2000s. They haven't gone beyond where they are now. So the idea that the league is helping the Knicks by making calls, just really.
And I think it's kind of funny, man. There's more physicality from the Knicks, and it's pretty much from the Pacers, a little more finesse, if you will. But it seems to be, Brian, a little bit of a throwback till the old NBA Eastern Conference, divisional playoffs and finals.
It's got that kind of tenseness here a little bit now. The scores don't look remotely like it. the Knicks and the Pacers have both scored more here now than they ever scored in the 90s against each other. But it's got the same intensity. I think the Pacers haven't quite shown they're ready for it in the fourth quarters of these two games. I think they'll be better going back, home. But, so far the Knicks have kind of shown that they're
1 minute.
They had a tough series last year against Miami. I think that got them ready for this. And so far they've certainly shown they're better at this step than the Pacers have been.
Brian, thanks for jumping on with us, man. We miss having you on. You've been coming on with us for over 15 years or so. So thanks so much for the time. We appreciate you.
Yeah, glad you're doing well. Good to hear from you again.
That's Brian Mahoney, NBA writer for Associated Press. Follow him on Twitter and X, Brian C. Mahoney. Appreciate him. He's been coming on almost 19 years.
Yes.
I mean, man.
Day
geez,
one.
Good stuff. He is brought to you today by All City Towing. If you're looking for a career change, All City Towing continues to look for new people to join their team. Head to allcitytowing.com. Search careers. That's All City Towing. Statewide service. They answer your call 24/7. allcitytowing.com. Well, coming up, we need a guest to challenge